Let's talk about the WNBA Finals. Look at ticket prices for finals games.
The drama surrounding the WNBA Finals began not on the court, but in the silence rows of empty seats that spoke louder than the opening tip-off. In a season built on momentum and expectation, the finals were supposed to feel like a celebration. Instead, they felt like an indictment. Wilson and DeWanna Bonner, two of the sport's fiercest competitors, walked into arenas built for heroes, only to find ghosts in the stands. The hush that greeted them was more painful than any missed shot as warm-ups began. Wilson reportedly muttered, "This is the finals," under her breath. It was a statement born not of hubris, but of disbelief. Here was the face of the league, the reigning MVP, standing before empty chairs as if they had materialized overnight. The final series, the grand stage where legacies are cemented, looked more like a quiet scrimmage to no one watching. Ticket prices dropped like lead $35 for championship seats in a match meant to defy gravity. The floor was polished, the cameras ready, but the audience was gone. Bonner, stepping into her post-game interview moments later, spoke with a sharp edge. "You work your whole career for moments like this," she said, voice tight. "You just hope people care enough to show up." That line crackled with frustration, not just at empty stands, but at a deeper betrayal. For two women who had poured their lives into pushing the league forward, the optics were unforgiving. Fans weren't just failing to fill seats. They were failing to show up for their efforts. The narrative shifting under their feet had one name at its center: Caitlin Clark. She had exploded onto the scene, pulled new eyes to the game, energized fandom, and transformed regular season arenas into charged theaters of spectacle. But in her absence, the finals felt like a forgetting. The energy, the buzz had slipped away. People weren't interested in the finals anymore. They were interested in the absence of one player, so Wilson and Bonner took on a new role. One they never wanted: the public faces of fan apathy. In Game 2, the scene repeated itself. When the crowd stayed muted, Wilson slammed her towel and glared at the stands. Bonner, after missing a layup, threw her hands skyward in disbelief. The microphones picked up only fragments. Nobody cares. The finals. Something clipped and intense. Still, the world heard enough. Within minutes, the moments spread online like wildfire, stitched into memes mocking their desperation, mocking the league that allowed it suddenly. What should have been a clinching spectacle turned into a trial by social media. Fans sided against the veterans, defending Clark's draw while accusing those who questioned her of entitlement. The very stars meant to carry the moment found themselves defeated by it. Wilson's frustrations, once seen as passion, became ammunition for critics who believed she was fighting the one woman who gave the WNBA its spark. Bonner's one-liner, "We deserve packed arenas," became both an anthem and a rebuke. Backstage, whispers swirled. Teammates tried to rein in the storm. Media handlers scrambled to craft narratives. But the fracture was already too deep. The axis of attention had shifted. It was no longer enough to be a star in the WNBA. You had to be the star people believed in. And for a moment, Wilson and Bonner understood they were playing a league that no longer saw them. When the commissioner, Cathy Engelbert, finally addressed reporters before Game 3, the tension in the room was electric. She praised growth. She praised talent. She blamed scheduling. She blamed markets. She insisted the league was stronger than critics claimed. Then came the question no one could dodge. How do you explain record low attendance? Her answer trembled between defensiveness and evasion. "This isn't about one player," she said, but her tone betrayed her. In brushing off the criticism, she became the symbol of everything the league was accused of ignoring: fan voices, player concerns, narrative power. The backlash was instantaneous. Clips of her reimbursement danced across social media alongside side-by-side comparisons. Packed arenas during Clark's Fever games, empty seats at the finals. Hashtag Engelbert outtrended. Headlines roared. The league's identity fractured into two camps: her defenders and her detractors. The irony was piercing. The final event meant to lift the league had become its reckoning. Wilson and Bonner, in quiet moments between games, held the tension on their shoulders. They watched video snippets of themselves in viral clips, saw conventions twist their anger into memes, fights into fodder. They were athletes crushed by the narrative they had never asked to lead. When pressed again, Wilson's voice softened. "We shouldn't have to beg for respect," she said. The line hung there, sharp and painful. She wasn't just speaking for herself. She was speaking for a league that had asked too much and given too little in return. The finals ended not with confetti and roar, but with the quiet echo of absence. Trophy held high, cameras flashed, but the stands remained subdued. The scoreboard meant less than the silence. The more the league tried to spin, the louder the optics spoke. Empty arenas, bruised fan trust, and the absence of the one name that mattered most. The WNBA's biggest moment had turned into its deepest failure. What had been sold as growth became exposed as fragile. What had been pitched as a golden era became criticized as a mismanaged moment. A'ja Wilson and DeWanna Bonner had entered the finals as champions in their own right. But they emerged as cautionary symbols of a league that believed it could survive ego over empathy. Fans left. Ratings plunged, and the narrative shifted. The league couldn't hide behind projections anymore. It was exposed, its failures laid bare before its stars, its players, its audience. The furious energy of those finals didn't belong to the game. It belonged to something else entirely, a public takedown of a league that forgot how to listen. What do you believe went wrong? Did the WNBA fail its players, or did its stars fail the moment? Who is responsible for the disconnect between fans and the league? Share your thoughts below, and if you want more deep dives into the drama behind the game, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Your voice matters.